ever wondered how the world began? The ancient Greeks had their titans, the Norse had their giants. But what about the Maya? Deep in the heart of Mesoamerica, a truly epic story was born, one filled with gods, monsters, and legendary heroes. This is the story of the Popol Vuh, the Mayan book of creation. Our story starts in darkness, in a silent, motionless, primordial sea. To create a gods, Tipu and Gukumats, floated and thought. They wanted to create beings who could praise them, who could remember them. So, with just their words, they brought the world into existence. They said earth, and the land rose from the waters. Mountains shot up, and valleys were carved out. Then came the plants and the animals. But the animals couldn't speak their creators' names. They could only squawk, screech, and roar. The gods were disappointed. This wasn't what they had in mind. So they tried again, this time creating beings out of mud. But these mud people were a disaster. They were clumsy, they couldn't think, and they dissolved in the rain. Frustrated, the gods destroyed them. For their next attempt, they carved humans from wood. These wooden figures looked and acted more like people. They could walk and talk, and they multiplied. But they had no souls, no minds, and no memory of their creators. They wandered the earth aimlessly, without purpose. The gods, angered by their soulless creations, sent a great flood to wipe them out, and the few who survived are said to have become the monkeys we see in the trees today. Now we get to the really exciting part, the hero twins. Before true humans could be created, the world had to be made safe. This task fell to two legendary brothers, Hunahpu and Zipulunk. Their father and uncle had been tricked and defeated by the sinister lords of Xibalba, the Mayan underworld. Tau. It was up to the twins to seek revenge and prove their worth. The lords of Xibalba were not to be underestimated. They were gods of death and disease who ruled a terrifying realm filled with deadly trials. Like houses of razor-sharp bats, freezing cold, and hungry jaguars. But Hunahpu and Zibalank were no ordinary boys. They were clever, brave, and masters of the sacred Mayan boar game. They journeyed to the underworld and faced every single one of the Lord's deadly challenges. Through a combination of skill, trickery, and sheer courage, they outsmarted the gods of death time and time again. In a final, spectacular act, they even allowed themselves to be defeated, only to be reborn and come back even more powerful. They ultimately triumphed over the lords of Xibalba, bringing balance to the cosmos and making the world safe for the next creation. With the underworld subdued, the gods were finally ready for their final attempt at creating humanity. This time, they used a sacred substance, yellow and white corn. They ground it into a dough, mixed it with water, and from this they fashioned the first 4 men. These humans were perfect. They were intelligent, they had memory, and they could see everything from the smallest leaf to the furthest star. They immediately gave thanks to their creators. In fact, they were a little too perfect. The gods worried that these humans were too much like themselves, so they clouded their vision slightly, so they could only see what was near and clear. Then they created for women to be their companions, And from these first 8 people, all the Mayan people descended. The Popol Vuh is more than just a creation story. It's a breathtaking epic about failure, perseverance, courage, and the deep connection between the Maya, their gods, and the natural world, especially the corn that sustained them. It's a testament to the rich and complex worldview of one of history's most fascinating civilizations. Thanks for joining me on this journey into Mayan mythology. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from around the world. See you next time.